Update 38.1 is here and brings some new content to LOTRO. There are some other things coming in the patch, but this update will bring some new quests and new missions for the Corsairs of Umbar expansion. So first off, the Hunter's Expedition Camp, which is southeast of the city of Umbar, will have some new quests for you. I believe these are supposed to be repeatable quests as well, but we also finally have our Umbar expansion missions. There are 10 new missions. 9 of these will be able to be run with delvings. There is also a delvings update in this patch. But with these missions, the rewards mainly revolve around the 2 Umbar allegiances. So you have the Order of the Eagle and the Ledger Keepers. So you can also get these items to progress through those allegiances. And that appears to be the entire reward structure. So here in game, the missions are in basically the middle of the city of Umbar. And this particular location is called the Bloody Eagle Tavern. Speaking of locating things on a map, did you know that I played LOTRO GeoGuessr with Aubrey the Weird One? You can find the video on her channel. It's surely worth the like. Now, when you walk into the tavern, if you continue going straight, you will find the new missions givers here. There are 10 total missions again. You have 5 from the NPC on the right and 5 from the NPC on the left. And then over left a little bit is the Delving Rewards vendor. And then here to the right is an Umbar Quartermaster for the Reputation. You also have the Ledger Keeper's Allegiance vendor. And then we're actually going to go back to the left down here for the other Allegiance. And this is that Quartermaster. And then there's also the Renewal of Gondor Reputation Barter here. So lots going on here in the Bloody Eagle, and it seems like it will be a popular location for people to hang out in LOTRO. Now for the missions, I actually plan to run these in a future video or maybe live stream, but just to point out, here are the rewards with the mission. So you do get the Modest Gift of Yuri, which gives you a little bit of allegiance points, and you also get 1 barter currency for each of the 2 allegiances. Now one important thing to point out is there appears to be nothing for lower level characters, unlike a lot of other missions in LOTRO. So in the Allegiance vendors, which is the rewards for the missions here, there is actually no lower level armor, so it appears to all be level 150 armor, just to point out. Back to the patch notes though, there is a delving update. Now there was some extra contextual information given from the developers on delvings and the reward structure, but to focus on what we actually have in the patch is that delvings will now give a lot of their usual loot for level 150 characters, as it's a level cap system, but currently that will only include yellow gear. Purple gear and teal gear is still not available from delvings, but at least we have some form of gear in level 150 rewards. There is also, compared to usual, a reduced drop rate for some of the rare tracery rewards and things like that. Now, I have made some videos where I've talked about delvings and why Umbar has felt like a very unfinished expansion, and delvings actually fit into that, so I'm not going to repeat all that for this video. I have also talked about it and the updates that we had to delvings in a recent live stream, but I will point out that the delvings barterer still has level 140 armor. There's basically no reason that you should be bartering for this, just to point out. It is level 140 outdated armor, and the same actually goes for the Gunabad World of Craft tracery recipes. These are all old and should not be bartered for. So please don't waste your resources on any of this stuff because it's all for level 140. The only thing that's really going to be relevant, not even the essence boxes, those are also still old. So the only relevant things are going to be your transport skills here, the universal delving morale and power potions, the hope tokens, and of course any of the cosmetics, pets, and decoration items here. So while they have updated the loot tables for delvings and the boxes that you get, they have not updated the barter rewards. Moving on, we also have the Yuletide Festival coming to LOTRO, and along with that, the Gold Hobbit gifts and Silver Hobbit gifts, both of them have been updated. So if we look at that, you get more Virtue XP from those. Now, I believe this is supposed to be a permanent change, but it might only coincide with the Yuletide Festival, so it is possible these will go back to their normal number, but thought I'd go ahead and open a silver gift with y'all, and it looks like I got 100 Virtue XP as the yellow reward there, and I got a mark boost because, you know, those are very useful. In fact, they're so useful that I've stockpiled 132,000 of them. Now, if you've played a lot of Umbar tier content, by that I mean level 141 to 150 content, you might have noticed a lot of legendary item system. Sometimes it's so hard to say that legendary item system items that you have gotten have not actually been the appropriate level for your characters, so those should be updated now. Also for crafting, I believe cooking specifically, you need crab legs for some of the new recipes, so those should drop more frequently from crabs throughout Gondor, Shield Isles, and Umbar. Oh, and wow, though, Winda Cranebill, who is the NPC that gives the VIP town services, they are now in Dol Amroth, Lord Carrion Halrax, and Umbar Barhabel, which are some of the new areas. I honestly don't know where she is in Umbar Barhabel, which is where I am, again, the Bloody Eagle Tavern. Hey, and task boards, they have returned to King's Gondor, including Western King's Gondor and Outer Gondor. I also found this really funny that some of the trolls actually in War of Three Peaks, for people that did not see, were scaled up to level 150. They're back to level 130 as they should be in the level 130 zone. But I find it really interesting, like actually genuinely interesting, not just poking fun of it, of how that happened. How did those mobs randomly get scaled up to level 150? It is so weird. They did not get scaled up to level 140 in the Gunabat expansion, so it's not just like an issue where, hey, new level cap, these mobs randomly scaled to the level cap. But they have returned to their proper level 130. Honestly, to me, it seems like having resource nodes in the middle of roads, it's a little bit of something to spice up your adventure, but those have been moved because, well, they probably got in people's way. It looks like there have also been some updates to the featured instances to make them just a little bit more worth running, in particular with legendary item traceries. So those can now drop teal and gold quality traceries rather than the old purple and teal quality traceries. And then if you run a raid size, so 12 player featured instance, then you always get a random legendary tracery. If you are curious, the current featured instance rotation, thanks to the LOTRO wiki for this information, I do believe it to be updated, includes, as far as raids go, at least Ost Dunhoth the Gortheron wing, which is one you will actually have to unlock to run it. Oh, you also have Dungeons of Nairband for the 6-man instance. I wonder how that works without having any Light of Rental gear at level 150. If I had to guess, not too well. Another thing to point out with the legendary items reward track, you can get Word of Craft and Heraldry crafting recipe boxes. Those actually still have Gundabad level recipes, which means they are for level 140 characters, not 150 characters with Umbar. So these have actually been removed from the repeatable rewards in the reward track. Otherwise, for the patch, there are quite a few bug fixes, but I did want to give you all an update. I know I talked about doing a video on why basically I don't think single-use recipes are good, and well, we do have these in Umbar. From the scroll cases that you can get from humanoid mobs, they drop single-use recipes when you open them. So that goes for all of these. It has level 150 purple quality recipes. Of course, the armor itself and the items take a lot of essences. So while I overall still do think this is a bad thing to have single-use recipes, and your all's votes on my channel poll here indicates that a very large portion of you agree, with 82% saying that you dislike single-use recipes. Actually, that's a surprisingly large amount of people that have said that they like them, but perhaps that's because I accidentally ordered these two wrong. But setting that aside, this does indicate that a significant portion of LOTRO players, assuming who answered the poll is representative of the overall LOTRO population, this does indicate that the community largely dislikes single-use recipes. Again, while I thought the idea would actually be fun to make a videos kind of riffing on them for a little bit, but talk more seriously about why I dislike them, I don't have any motivation to make a video like that because it's just like not an exciting topic and I just don't want to make a video on it. So this is probably all you all will get for now. Unless I go on another rant in a stream, I will try to just turn that into a video. I actually will also briefly point out that I think it's actually a really complex issue. It's not something that's straightforward because I personally at least actually like that we have scroll cases, and a way to balance scroll cases and not make them feel like they're kind of wasted once you get all the recipes in the game if they're not single use is to make them single use. I think there are some ways around that without actually having them drop single-use recipes and have those recipes be permanently learned. But basically, to be fair, I will say that I like that we have scroll cases. That's actually something that's really exciting to have again, but it's not exciting that it has single-use recipes, and I still think that that makes the crafting revamp worse than it would be without single-use recipes. Anyway, I will leave that there, and I am looking forward to running some of the new Umbar content in LOTRO. Let me know what you think of the update and the Umbar expansion so far. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, everyone.